Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to the weekly Outside Views report on British politics. Nicola Sturgeon is considered the face of the Scottish independence campaign, but since her resignation, her party has descended into chaos, and one force in particular could benefit from this. For a long time, her path led straight up, but after the temporary arrest of ex-First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, the Scottish National Party, the SNP, often described as invincible, finds itself in the biggest crisis in decades. And the desire for independence from Great Britain has received more than a severe damper by this. The SNP is at a tipping point. That was said by Gary Hassan of Caledonian University in Glasgow to the Financial Times newspaper recently. Demands are now being raised from within the ranks that Sturgeon should voluntarily suspend her SNP membership or be suspended by her very own successor, Humza Yousaf. The polls are in free fall. The financial situation is chaotic, numerous members are gone, and the pressure on Yousaf is increasing. Choosing Sturgeon's confidant as her successor was seen as a sign of continuity, and now he has to clean up, and nothing but clean up at the moment. Before Sturgeon, who continues to sit in the Edinburgh Regional Parliament, her husband Peter Murrell, who has long held a central SNP office, and Treasurer Colin Beattie were questioned by police for hours already in April. In the case, which has long since become a Sturgeon case, it seems almost grotesque that the police also confiscated a luxury camper van. And there is talk of a soap opera. And rumor has it that hundreds of thousands of pounds of donations to the independence campaign have been misappropriated. Regardless of whether or not Ms. Sturgeon is charged, this scandal has already ruined the SNP's reputation, is what some newspapers say. In a good 8 years at the top, Sturgeon, who vehemently denies the allegations, and Murrell had shaped the party into an election-winning machine, so to speak. And in the most recent regional elections, the SNP gained ground and missed an absolute majority by a hair's breadth. And together with the Greens, who are also aiming to return to the EU, the party had a clear majority in Parliament in Edinburgh. But observers are now criticizing that the SNP was tailored too much to this so-called power couple at the top. Internationally, Sturgeon was valued as the mother of the country, and internally she led with a firm hand. Opponents like predecessor Alex Salmond were ousted. Nicola Sturgeon has suspended others from the SNP for a lot less. That was said by Angus MacNeil, the party's MP now. Only a few people were involved in the decisions. It can now be read, and when things got critical, Sturgeon distracted them with loud demands that the British government finally agree to a new independence referendum. So there's a lot of fire against Sturgeon there from their own party at the moment. Detachment from London has been the dominant issue in Scotland for years, and with this clear course for independence, Sturgeon has sharpened the profile of the SNP at the expense of the Labour Party, which governed Scotland for a long time and largely represented the same positions. Only Labour is against secession, and the SNP took advantage of that. And since Sturgeon's completely surprising resignation announcement in February, the weight has shifted. Labour is catching up in the polls, and this should also have consequences for the upcoming British parliamentary elections, which are expected to take place in autumn 2024. 59 seats for London will be allocated in Scotland, and most recently Labour just got one and the SNP 48. If Labour can wrestle a few constituencies from the SNP, this would give opposition leader Keir Starmer a significant tailwind on the way to Downing Street. No Labour leader has become Prime Minister without votes from Scotland. And Labour is clearly in the lead in the national polls, helped by the situation within Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party. The Tories are shaken by the dispute over ex-Prime Minister and now ex-MP Boris Johnson, who gave up his parliamentary seat on Friday over serious allegations in the Partygate affair about illegal lockdown celebrations and his commitment to the truth. Keir Starmer has had worse weeks, commented journalist Lewis Goodall, and Starmer sees his two biggest opponents implode. But for many Scots, detachment from London remains a goal even without Sturgeon. Polls see losses for the SNP, but when it comes to independence, the northernmost part of Britain remains divided and Labour is warned. The independence issue is shaping votes in a way that is difficult for the other parties, as a senior Labour source was quoted by the Financial Times as saying. And so Scotland is in a very difficult position right now, and I always have to add on those videos one thing. You are always innocent until proven guilty, and that also accounts for Nicola Sturgeon. So remember that when you're commenting on this video. And if you're interested in more what's going on in politics around the world, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.